makes you look stupid. My parents never wore one, so why should I? These are some of the things that are said when being asked if they would like a helmet. Although it may not be the cool thing to do, it could end up saving your life. Knowing the different types of helmets for different events, knowing the benefits of wearing a helmet and the consequences of not wearing one, could make you put a helmet on every time you participate in a dangerous activity. There are many types of helmets out there for different sports. The types of helmets I will explain are football helmets, bike helmets, and motorcycle helmets. Let's start off with the football helmets. Football helmets had their origins in the early 1900s. Those helmets were made out of hard leather. By the 1920s, helmets were widely used in football with very little padding. In 1938, the Riddell Company invented the plastic helmet with a face mask. Today, the helmets have changed drastically since they first started out. According to Andrew M. Tucker in an article called Football Players' Head Injuries, published on October 28, 2009, stated that football helmets adequately protected players from catastrophic brain injuries. The newest addition to helmets are the shock data loggers and shock detectors. These show the force and direction of the impact on the head. If the helmet logs more than 100 Gs, it is possible that the player has a concussion. Another type of helmet is the bike helmet. These are designed to lessen impacts of the head if a cyclist falls and minimizes the side effects like interfered vision. Early bike helmets are very different compared to now. In the 1970s, helmets were shaped in a way that people called them the hairnet style. The helmets in this decade gave cyclists little protection from cuts and scrapes, but provided minimal protection. The first two modern helmets were made by MSR, a mountaineering equipment manufacturer in Bell Sports, a maker of auto racing helmets. By 1985, helmets were almost all either hard shell or no shell. In the 1990s and 2000s, helmets had cradles that adjusted precisely to the rider's head. A negative side to these helmets, though, is that the back of the head was more exposed. The last type of helmet I will be talking about is a motorcycle helmet. These helmets are designed to protect the rider's head during impact. These helmets have special features such as ventilation, face shields, and ear protection. Studies have shown that wearing a motorcycle helmet can reduce the risk of head injury by about 69% and the chance of death around 42%. Motorcycle helmet has a pretty cool origin. In the article, How the Crash Helmet Originated, published in Motorcycle Magazine on June 22, 1992, Dr. Eric Gardner saw one motorcyclist from Brooklyn's racetrack with head injuries about every 2 weeks. He then sparked an idea to make a mold of a helmet out of canvas and shellac. According to Paul Harvey on The Rest of the Story, aired on August through September 2006, stated that T.E. Lawrence had a crash and died because of head injuries. The doctor that tried to treat him was Hugh Cairns. When Lawrence died, he got the idea to research helmets more. His research led to the use of a crash helmet. There are many types of motorcycle helmets out there. I will tell you which ones are the most protective down to the least protective. The most protective type of motorcycle helmet is the full face helmet. This type of helmet covers the entire head and has eye and nose regions cut out. This type of helmet offers the most protection because 30% of crashes happen around the chin bar area, says Dietmar Oat from Hanover Medical University, Department of Traffic Accident Research, published on November 2001. The next one down the line is off-road helmets. These helmets have an elongated chin bar and visor portions with a partially open face. The visor on this helmet gives the rider better visibility. Flip-up helmets are the next protective. On a flip-up helmet, the chin bar can be lifted up, and on some helmets can even be taken off. The open-face helmets are the second least protective. Even though this helmet covers the ears, cheeks, and the back of the head, it does not have any face protection at all. Finally, the least protective type of helmet is the half helmet. This helmet has the nickname Shorty in the United States. It has a similar design as the open face, but without the that you know what types of helmets there are, I will explain the advantages of using a helmet. One of the best examples of the advantages of wearing a helmet is to set an example. If your child or a younger child sees you wearing a helmet, they will want to follow in your footsteps. As a result, they will become better, safer riders. Another advantage is that you are easily seen when you wear a bright colored helmet with reflective tape. The helmet protects your head from the elements such as rain, snow, and hail. There are also special helmets that are made for winter. They are designed to keep a person's head warm and protect them from the cold. According to Andrea assessments from Demand Media, published in 2015, stating that helmets protect a person's head from injury. Head injuries carry the most fatalities and long-term disabilities. Helmets provide 63 to 66% of head injury reduction for all ages, according to Injury Prevention, published in 2007. There are many consequences of not wearing a helmet. Although the brain is surrounded by the skull, it can still get injured by hitting the skull too hard. There are several things in the brain that help protect it from hitting the skull. The brain floats in cerebrospinal fluid that cushions the brain from hitting the skull every time we walk. Another thing that cushions the brain is the meninges. This is what separates the soft tissue from the skull. The meninges consist of three parts: the dura, which is the tough outer covering, the arachnoid, and the pia mater. The cerebrospinal fluid and the meninges help the brain from hitting the skull. If you choose to go without a helmet, the chances of severe head and neck injuries increases drastically. The serious consequences of concussion. A concussion is defined by the initial hit and the severity. Some signs of a concussion are unconsciousness, memory loss, unequal pupil sizes, and changes in alertness. Some of the persistent symptoms include changes in speech and double or blurred vision. Prolonged symptoms of a concussion are anxiety, light and noise sensitivity, and recurrent headaches. As you can see, there are many negative effects to not wearing a helmet. I will now give you an example of how trying to be cool and not wearing a helmet turns out. Last year, I decided to give snowboarding a try. When we got to Huff Hills and were getting ready, my friend asked me if I wanted a helmet. I said no because I would look dumb. It was my first time and I had no idea what I was doing, and I ended up looking up the hill while the rest of me was going down. I panicked, and the next thing I knew, I was laying on the snow flat on my back, wondering what just happened. I really do not remember what happened after the incident that day. The effects I struggled with was frustrating, and I still have some of those effects, all because I didn't want to look dumb and wear a helmet. Although wearing a helmet may not be the cool thing to do, it may prove to be very important. Having the proper helmet for the sport you are participating in may maximize safety. Seeing how wearing a helmet and the consequences of not wearing one could change your take on wearing a helmet. Now that you have heard my reasoning and personal experience, I hope you choose to